All right, we're back. We're gonna try this again. We obviously had some technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi. We are supposed to have a special guest today, so we're gonna try this again. I know we just had a bunch of people in here, and we were trying to get our special guest Rich on the phone, Richard Anthony. But for some reason, everybody's Wi-Fi is acting funky. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi. Don't know, but we're gonna continue and try to see if this works now because I had to move locations. So let's see if this works. I know that we just had a bunch of people on, man. It's try to get everybody back on here. Let's see. Man, let's see. All right, Ish. Sneaker Fiend in here. Yeah. Okay. Is this better? Much better. Okay. I think we're good. Ish. What do you think? Whoa. Whoa. Do y'all see what just popped up on if you guys got Yahoo Sports? I know this is not related to real estate. But Mike Tyson is supposed to be fighting Roy Jones Jr. I knew this man was training for a fight. Yo, we about to see Tyson fight again. Roy Jones Jr., by the way, who is 51, and Mike Tyson is 54. Yeah, that's going to be trending today, I'm pretty sure, all day. But anyway, for my loyal people that just hopped back on, Ishmael and Sneaker Fiend, I appreciate y'all for hopping back on. And looks like our reception is a lot better, so that's great. Now some accountability time since you don't want to be straightforward. Ish, what's up with you and you trying to buy this house, man? Last time we checked, we were supposed to be getting some pre-approvals here. So let me know what the status is on those. Sneaker Fiend, you have been consistently showing up as well. I'd like to know what your, I'd like to know basically what you have going on. Are you interested in buying homes? Things like that. There's Richard. Finally, I'm so mad we had bad reception earlier because we had a lot of people that joined us. So hopefully we can get them back on here. Rich, let's see if you can join. Ish, don't forget, I asked that question. Gotta let me know what the update is. Let me see. Rich. There it is. See if we can get Rich on. He's
Yo.
oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, we here, baby. We here, man. Dang, man. We yo. I don't know, I guess it was just me because everybody, like literally after you had got off,
Yeah.
everybody had joined. It was like, "What's up, radio reception?" I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
So
I'm glad we got it. We got it back.
yeah, we got it back, man. Hopefully, them same people will join back in. It's all good. I wanted to keep things going. We already got a few. So anyway, guys, this is Richard. If you don't know Richard, he's an investor. Also a businessman. He's got a bunch of businesses, bunch of houses. He does his thing. He does his thing, man. But yeah, Richard, you can give a little introduction if you want to yourself, man.
All right. Yes, my name is Richard. Originally from West Palm Beach, Florida. I've done a lot from living in New York, living in Atlanta now. I love to travel, love to buy properties, love to help people buy properties. So just kind of a guy who likes to make money and enjoy life.
Who doesn't like to make money?
I don't know. I think there's a couple people that don't like to make money.
Like, who don't like to make money? What's going on? Danielle,
Celeste?
Celeste
Yeah.
Muncher.
We got Destiny on here.
Okay, Destiny, what's going on? Destiny, Duval, stand up. What's good? So we got a couple people. If you guys are new here, basically this is a space where we're allowing you guys to ask any and every question you have regarding real estate. If you want to learn how to invest, if you want to learn how to wholesale flip,
buy your first home, what kind of loans you use, well, anything like that. If you guys are in the process and you want to know this, you hit a roadblock or whatever. If you don't have somebody to reach out to and ask these questions, we're creating this space for you. Me and Richard both are in the real estate game, so we'll probably just be talking anyway, but feel free to drop comments down in the section below. Again, this is not for us, this is for you. So yeah, feel free to ask away at any point in time. I know, Rich, you're down there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We already got a question earlier from Sneaker Fiend.
Okay.
Basically had asked before we got cut off, how do we feel about manufactured homes and renting? I don't know if you have experience with manufactured homes.
I have not. I mean, so growing up, my father's always said, stay away from manufactured homes. Why? He just I think the resale value on manufactured homes just doesn't really appreciate like the property that actually sits and has been, built on the ground itself. But I
Yeah,
think times are changing. I see a lot of different things or different style homes that are being built, especially luxury container homes are really big
just brought that
right
up.
now, and they're a lot cheaper than your traditional home. So,
Yeah,
you can easily go on IG and just search the hashtag of luxury container home, and you'll see some really beautiful spots that are just amazing. And basically it's a trailer. It's the 18-wheeler trailer.
that's
You
it.
put them
That's all it
together
is.
and they make something magical happen on the inside, carpeted, just decked out kitchens and bathrooms and all that. And
Yeah,
I really am fascinated with container homes and what you can do with those. But as
yeah,
far as manufactured homes, I don't have any myself. My father's somebody who's truly against manufactured homes just because the depreciation doesn't really sit there. But
yeah,
I guess it depends on the market. Even I have a friend who's looking to invest in a large trailer park, you know, acreage. I think
yeah.
about 40 or so trailers on it. And
Ooh,
it'll be definitely a profitable business. Now, I don't know if the
yeah.
appreciation is there, but the cash flow would definitely be there.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that says something right there. Like the fact that I don't have experience in it, you don't have experience in it. Not saying we're the biggest cats out here,
Right.
but it's a niche market or niche market, however you want to call it, right? So if that is something you're actually interested in getting into, Sneaker Fiend, I would actually look into it further and think about if that's the good route to go, because I don't think a lot of people are actually in that lane or that space. And,
Yeah.
real estate's pretty broad and there's a lot of people doing a lot of the same things. So if you could differentiate yourself and become that expert, be that expert. We got a lot of people in here today, man. Let's see who we got. We got a lot of fan folks. Danielle, we got realtor Brian Miller. We got Mika, we got Faith, J Black 24, Bankroll MB 53, Helen. Sorry if I misspelled some of you guys' names. I like to shout out everybody that drops by.
For sure, for sure.
NY Key R, Ever Changing 10, Keneal, Hollywood 10,
Oh, yeah, your number's
JB
starting to boom, man.
34. I know, I'm like,
All
whoa.
right. Okay.
So, for the new people, if this is your first time here, basically we do this every Thursday, 12 o'clock, answering anything, everything real estate related. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. We will get to those questions. I, as well as Rich, is both in real estate, been in for a while, different markets, and we'll do our best to answer this stuff. This is not for us, this is for you. So please feel free to answer any question you have for me or Rich or for both of us. Looks like we got something already. A couple things already. Let's see. Danielle, she says she's working on business credit for deals right now. Are you doing the same thing, Rich?
I'm I'm planning on starting a partner with somebody, starting a business next month in regards
Yeah.
to helping small businesses and LLCs get an established business credit,
Mm.
anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000 in
Mm.
business line of credit, and then I believe it's 0% interest for the first year.
Ooh.
So that's an amazing thing. Be on the lookout for it next month.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to
Keep me
drop too
updated.
much right now. Yeah. So I mean,
Keep me updated
0% interest business loan, so it's not something that's hitting your not hitting your personal line of credit or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just some tips and tricks on establishing the credit for your business and for your LLC. regardless of whether you just started or if you've been in the game for 5 or so years. Of course, the longer you've been in, the more you could probably get on the back end. But it is a great opportunity for you to establish yourself in the market by getting some funds because you need some money to do some things.
We need money, man. That's the thing. It's like anything that you do in this game takes money to make money. You know, whether you're at the smallest level of wholesaling or you're flipping or doing anything commercial, like you need money regardless. I don't know anybody out here just flipping or doing anything with zero funds and using 100% everybody else's cash. If you got a deal set up like that,
It's possible. I will say it's possible. You can definitely do 100% financing on some deals.
Yeah.
I definitely have some folks in my circle who've been able to leverage that, just having a great network and people that trust you. And just, having done deals before, you might have some friends who, I'll put in, 20 here or 15 there. And then they, boom, you got 100% of the, financing deal. And you're just pretty much the project manager on it and able to get it all knocked out.
People gotta believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Like you definitely gotta have that skill set to be like, all right, well, I can take care of this, and as long as you guys believe in me, shit, hey, can make some things happen.
If you got a good reputation, folks will definitely believe in your dreams and believe in what you're trying to do, and they'll back it, with money. So
yeah. Let me see. We got some other things. We got Ishmael, for the purpose of acquiring a property for renting purposes. If not 20% down, what loan option would you guys recommend? Sounds like he's talking conventional.
yeah, I mean, so a lot of things a lot of people don't know is even if you already own a home, just because you're buying another property, and you want to rent it out, you don't necessarily need to say it's an investment property. Because once you use the word investment property, that's when the banks
Oh,
and the banks or any type of financing you're trying to get, they hit you
yeah,
with that 20 to 25% down. But if you say, hey, I own a home here, but I'm looking to get a second home or a
second
vacation
home.
home,
Yeah,
which is, basically interchangeables between second home and vacation home, you can actually just put 10% down, even if you do plan to
yeah,
rent it out. I mean, of course, this is just like the loophole in the game of when it comes to investing. So anytime you're looking to buy a second property and you want to rent it out, just let the bank know, hey, I'm looking to buy a vacation home. You don't have to let them know what you're doing with it afterwards, or that you may plan to, rent later on down the line, or maybe things changed after you close or whatever. But yeah, so definitely, even with my first property that I purchased, I was living in New York and I bought it in Florida, and I bought it as a second home, only put
yeah,
10% down,
yeah,
and then I rented it out, and it was a great deal. I think I was getting maybe 1,100 in rent, and my mortgage at the time was like 250.
yeah.
So the cash flow was insane.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I had a similar scenario where we were actually this house right here to what I'm in now. We were trying to classify it as a second home,
Yeah.
and the lady was like, I think I had slipped up and said investment, and as soon as I said investment, all the paperwork, like all the numbers on the paperwork, completely changed. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yep.
whoa, whoa, no, no,
Yep.
no, no. Like I'm actually gonna be living here. But yeah, that's one thing for sure. Is first thing you say, if you say investment property to them, it's going to be automatically 20%.
Yep.
Um, but other options, I mean, obviously, you can work out something where you can get somebody to help you finance these deals. FHA is a great loan. You're only putting like 3.5% down. That was actually the loan I used in my first house,
Mhm.
coupled with that 203K. So if you're not trying to come out of pocket a lot of money, then you can get, you're coming out of pocket very little for the initial purchase, and you also get rehab costs allocated to the project. Just keep in mind that if this is something you do plan on renting out, that you watch that budget, because that gets tacked onto your mortgage, which will ultimately eat into your profits on the back end if you are trying to rent. That's something I had to keep in mind.
Sure.
But yeah, I already told you, man. FHA, baby. Come on, man.
Right.
It's a great introduction loan, and there's other options out there. But if you can finesse FHA, do it. Especially the
Exactly. Like
guys I know, of
get your
course.
foot in the
You
door,
know.
FHA all the way, get your first property. Put that 3.5% down. Even if you're in an expensive market, you can again buy that secondary home back in a different city, maybe somewhere you're from or where you
Yeah,
have a lot of family at. It definitely helps to be able to leverage that FHA or the conventional second home, vacation home purchase.
yeah, Yeah, look, we got some questions, man. We got some people up in here, man. We got some new
Okay.
folks. Mel, Ventura, Chuck Marcus, what's going on, Marcus? Big Gert, JR, the Don 04, Shay Berry, what's going on? If you guys haven't joined before, basically we're answering anything, everything real estate every Thursday, 12 o'clock. Tune in. Feel free to drop questions in the comment section below. We're gonna go ahead and go down to Danielle. Actually, Ishmael said basically gave Black Power side. So look, he appreciates
Sure.
that knowledge. Danielle, she says, can you use business credit and hard money for a deal together?
Yeah, together. I mean, sure, you could do it. You could set up your financing however you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on also the hard money lenders' requirements, though, because sometimes in order to fund you the loan, they might want to see that the funds that you're using, at least for the down payment, is your money, that you had skin
Right.
in the game. So that might be the only issue. But I mean, business line of credit is technically still considered your money,
Money.
as
Yes.
long as you let it sit in your account for at least, I think, 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. Like
But then
90 days.
yeah, that can get expensive though.
Yeah. I,
I mean, hard
hmm.
money loans is already,
I see the finesse.
yeah,
I
I
see
see
the
it.
finesse. I see the
I don't,
finesse.
I wouldn't say that
Uh,
would be the route I would take because it could be expensive as far as the interest because you're already dealing with a hard money lender. Your interest payment's
yeah.
probably in the double digits, and then
Yeah.
even with a business line of credit, unless you do something where you can get, like I said, I'm doing 0% interest loans.
Yeah.
Um, Once I get the business up and running next month. Um, So it really just depends. I wouldn't necessarily go that route, but it depends
Yeah.
on what the numbers are talking. If the numbers make sense where you can use both and still make a profit, then of course go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Danielle, let me know, this is not your first time, obviously. Well, no, this is your first time trying to do this. But yeah, let us know how that goes because I mean, I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Are you working with our guy? Let me know. I mean, you can just say yes or no because you know the guy I sent you, Thomas. Let me know if you're working with Thomas on that one. I'd be interested to see how that goes. Um, but yeah, we also got some more questions. Sneaker Fan asks, if you had 10 grand free and clear, how would you go about investing in real estate? 10 grand
10
is
grand free and clear. What would you do, man? What would you do with 10?
woo! 10 grand. I would be hmm. This is tough, right? Because it depends on like what your goals are, right? Like if I'm trying to like start like a business and go like full force with it, I'm putting I'm probably gonna put at least half of that, if not a third of that, into some marketing. Setting up my systems, which should be fairly cheap, and then putting that into some marketing and trying to get off market properties because that's where most of the deals, like the great home run deals that I've at least been able to encounter, have been made. So I'm gonna put at least half that into some marketing, or not half, I'm sorry, but about a third of that into marketing, and then the other half or the other portion of it, I'm probably gonna save it for when I actually do reach out to a hard money lender because they do want to see money in the bank. That might
Yeah.
not be exactly enough, but if hard money is all about relationships. So if they believe in you, they'll lend with you, right? You can still
Yeah.
have bad credit, and you can have a little bit of money if they believe you. I feel like I can finesse and allow somebody to, lend to me with that amount of money that I have left over. So I do it like that, and so I can at least get my foot in the door with a potential home run deal. What about you? What you got?
So I mean, it kind of just depends. Like if I was just starting out, just graduated college kind of thing, and somehow I had 10 grand, or maybe a starting bonus from work.
Yeah,
Uh, I would essentially, I would use FHA loan, buy a crib,
it
and
is.
I would house hack, man. I would rent out the rooms and just like
Yeah,
boom, that would pay my mortgage and put like maybe $400 or $500 in my pocket every month. Then
yeah.
I would save what I'm already saving plus save what I'm getting from the house. So then you get that 10 grand back real soon. Then boom, you
Easy.
buy your second property, vacation home, not your investment home
Vacation.
yet,
Yeah.
but you buying a second home vacation property. You are not buying an investment property yet. You do not want to say that to your mortgage lender. Otherwise, they will smack you with the 25% down payment, and you do not want to do that. So 10 grand, I would boom, buy a property, use the FHA whole process. And, you could just rent it out straight from that. But, of course, you don't want to be hit with any type of mortgage fraud or anything like that. But they're not usually the type to check. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you can do it, but then there's that small chance. Let's like a 10% chance. Let's say your mortgage lender comes and, checks like, hey, is this person actually living here, or did they make this a rental? And then boom, you stuck. So, I mean, I would just say FHA loan, put your 3.5% down. So with 10 grand, you could probably get a decent house. And then you can even, request that the seller, whoever of whatever house you're buying, pays for all your closing costs, or at least puts 5 grand towards your closing costs, so you have money out your pocket. That's one thing you always want to do when buying a property, is make sure you request money from the seller, like to pay your closing costs. If you do not do that, you are slipping in the game at all times. I do a standard, any contract I send over is a standard at least 5 grand minimum from the seller to pay for my closing costs. So that way my down payment.
Run that bread.
Yeah. You want to sell this house? I want to get it, but you gonna have to do a little extra. And they, most times they gonna do it. They may not do the whole 5 grand, but most of the time they gonna do at least 22,000 to 5 grand, sometimes even 6. So you can definitely do that. But with 10 grand, I would definitely buy property, either FHA, rent out the rooms, or even just do FHA and secretly rent it out to a family and get that cash flow coming in. But other than that, I mean, I wouldn't really get into flipping with just 10 grand though.
No, man, flipping is costs a lot of bread. That when I said hard money, I'm going bird route. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now,
okay.
To your point, it's funny because that actually we did talk about this. Sneaker Fiend brought it up. We did talk about this finesse. I don't want to call it a finesse because we are on Al Gore's internet, and I don't know who's surveying or watching this stuff. But yeah, I did do FHA for my first house, and I never lived there a day in my life.
See?
I just put everything. I put a couple bills in that address. The key is your insurance. Do not pull a rental policy for your property if you're gonna finesse. Keep it as a homeowner because your insurance is tied to your mortgage lender. And once something changes on your insurance policy, it pings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, again, there's ways to finesse. I mean, you could definitely do a FHA loan on a property and then still rent it out on the back end. But it's certain things you got to do to make sure that you're not finna get caught up. But again, most of the time, the mortgage lender is not gonna check and see if you're actually living there or anything like that. So it's just pretty simple and easy. So 10 grand. I mean, depending on what city you're in. I mean, unless you're in like San Fran, New York, LA type stuff, you might not be able to do anything. But if it's your first property, you should not have any issues buying a property that's at least 45 minutes away from where you live, or even at most 2 hours away from you live to get a little cheaper deal at all. You just go on Google. If you don't know manage it yourself, you go on Google, you do a little research of property managers in that city and read reviews, check with references, and then go from there. You got somebody who's managing your property. You might be, collecting $1,000 a month. You're only paying your property manager $100 a month to take care of all your headaches. So I feel like it's worth it. So
that was a good question, actually. I like that question. We got a lot of people in here today. So if you guys don't know, for anybody that is new, again, we're answering anything, everything real estate. 12 o'clock here, IG Live every Thursday. We got Richard on the line with us today, down there in Atlanta, investing in real estate and everything else. So we are here for you guys. I'm gonna get to these questions because people are talking today. So let's see. Is from J Black 24? Is there a credit score that you would like to target before applying for FHA loans?
So let's see. I mean,
answer that one.
Yeah, it depends. So the minimum to even get approved for FHA, I believe, is 580. But of course, with having a lower credit score, you're gonna be paying a little more
Interest
money out of
rate.
pocket. Yeah,
Yep.
just the PMIs and all that other stuff, and just points and all that stuff. So if you really want to get the ideal credit score is a 720.
Yeah,
720 and
I
above,
was
you
thinking
get you get
720. Yeah.
you get anything you want. You could they kissing
Yeah.
your ass and you can make
Yeah.
demands and stuff.
Sir,
Six
that whole tone changes when they check that score.
Yeah, yeah. 720, people look at you, or at least the bank or mortgage lenders, they look at you like, okay,
Yeah.
you upstand an investor, we'll lend you this money
Yep.
because you good.
Yep.
So I would say 720 and above.
Oh, shit. No.
I think I had
Oh.
hit my 1 hour mark that I can use on
Oh.
Instagram, so I
Oh.
got to get back in.
My bad. I was like, yo, not right now.
But
Not
yeah,
what we got all these people in.
yeah, nah. But yeah, so 720 is the ideal number to invest in real estate. But you can get an FHA loan with a 580. So if you don't have the 720, the next best score is between 680 and 700 and 720. Then it's 680 to 700, and then that
Mm-hmm.
kind of realm of 600 to 680 is kind of just like up in the air. 580,
Yeah.
you can get your foot in the door
You
with
get your foot in the door.
580. But again, if you want to have smooth runnings and be able to make demands and do what you want to do, a 720 is the ideal score. A 680 will
Yep.
also get you pretty dope stuff. But if you just really, want to get started and don't want to wait, you got the.
Richard, don't tap out on me.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It interrupted again. I was like,
Oh,
don't
okay.
tap
Yeah,
out on
yeah.
me.
580 credit score is the bare minimum. But 720 is you can talk your shit with a 720.
Most definitely. And it's good to ask that question because, I mean, basically what we're saying is that, look, if you are planning on buying a house, use that time before you start actually looking to get your credit together because once you find a house and get it under contract, the bank is going to want to know your whole life, right? And if you don't have a great credit score, and if you've got dings on your credit, or if you've got what are those overdrafts or anything like that, they're going to want you to explain that. And I don't know about y'all, but that's not something I really want to be having to explain to a bank. When I bought my first house, I think I had like 2 overdrafts like within 3 months. You know how it is, like you just forget, right? And I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I made this switch like like as soon as I got the overdraft, I was like, oh, let me just transfer the money back over. And they actually found that, and it was like 60 days prior, and they had me explain in a email why for each overdraft, why it happened and why it won't happen again. That ain't
for
nothing
sure.
you really want to be talking about and dealing with the bank. Same thing with your
Right.
credit. So utilize the time beforehand to make sure everything is good to go. If you need a credit repair or whatever you got to do, just make sure all that stuff is taken care of before you actually start giving all your whole life to a bank.
We might be losing you on the signal
We
side.
got that for let me see some less. Less. First home soon. How long should I wait to buy the second home for renting purposes? Well, I mean, that's pretty loaded. There's a couple. Dang, my signal's going bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah, I
guys
can
hear
hear
me?
you now.
Is it still going bad? Signal
I
still
think we're
going
good.
good? Okay,
It's a
good.
little shaky,
It's shaky. Damn,
just a little bit.
this
What
is
was
sad.
her question again?
Okay,
I didn't hear it.
we'll keep going. Let me see what she says. Whew, a lot to scroll up here. She said, I plan to buy my first home soon. How long should I wait to buy the second home for renting purposes? So
Yeah,
basically, it
so
sounds like you're going to buy a primary, then a rental property.
then a rental property right after. Um, I mean, if you got the money, you got the funds,
That's what, yeah,
you can
you can do
technically do it
whatever.
right after.
Yeah.
Whenever there might be. And then also, please note that sometimes certain lenders have restrictions on what can be considered your second home. Usually, it has to be at least 50 miles away from your primary residence. That is just one of like the biggest stipulations. But if you can get around that part, then you can definitely, buy property as a second home. Or if you can say, hey, I actually need a bigger spot. I'm expecting a child, so I need, a bigger property, but I don't want to sell the first one. Then you can boom, get your second home, vacation home, without it having to be 50 miles away.
Yeah.
So it really just depends. But
it's a play on the words. That's all it is. Damn, we got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just play on the words. I hope my reception is good, man, because you got me all worried now. Can you hear?
No, I mean, for me, you're frozen, but I can hear you.
Oh my gosh, damn it. All right, well, we're just gonna keep going because everybody's still in here. So I don't want to lose momentum, but we still got a good thing going. So anybody that is new here, Jeff, Seema, some call me JB, her intuition, Sam Surreal, Love Nis, Steady Clockhead, Chizo, Kalichi, Ashley, Dunn J, Lux Savant, GQ Accountant, Vanessa Lynn. Oh, we got a lot of people in the know. Tiano, Legend, Planet, and Faith. It's a lot of people. Anyway, basically, if you guys are new here, we're answering anything, everything real estate related. I hope my reception is not that bad so you can hear me and Richard. But anyway, we're here every day, every Thursday, 12 o'clock. Feel free to ask anything real estate related in the comment section below. We'll do our best to try to answer that based off of our experiences. We're going to go ahead and go to the next question. Let's see what we get here. Mortgage lender did 15% of my first rental. We spoke about finesse. I couldn't say vacation home because I was across the street and looked for a down payment program for the first house. Let's see. Pros and cons of using property as this is right up your alley. Pros and cons of using property as Airbnb versus renting it out. You can speak on the Airbnb side, brother.
Pros and cons. So let's say, I mean, it depends, man. It's so depending on what city you're in. If you're in a city where people come to turn up, then they're gonna be turning up in your spot. I've definitely had a couple folks throw some parties in here and not really take care of the place or be real disrespectful. Popping champagne inside the house type stuff. People get disrespectful and it's not their stuff. So the floors and the walls be sticky. But I mean, money wise, the money is there. Airbnb, money is there. I would say a property that you could rent for $1,500 a month, probably get $3,500, maybe $4,000 a month off the property when you do Airbnb instead of doing actual short-term rental. But now you a lot more headaches. You're doing a lot more cleaning. Airbnb, you got to talk to guests all the damn time. They messaging you, calling you. And it just really depends. I mean, you could get a property manager on Airbnb, but the whole thing with property management on Airbnb is they charge a lot more than just a regular rental. When you're looking at a regular rental, you're looking at, paying a property manager 8 to maybe 12% a month, as opposed to when you're doing Airbnb, you're paying possibly 20 to 25 making on that Airbnb property. And that's where it kind of differs. But and it also depends on the neighborhood. If you have a listing where your pictures are fire, kind of iffy, then you'll have a lot of complaints when folks come to an urban neighborhood. Even if the house is nice, a lot of complaints as regards to like what's going on outside. Even though you have no control over the neighborhood, you can definitely get plenty of bad reviews in regards to that. And I can testify to that just off of. I mean, shit. I'm sitting in one of my Airbnbs right now. Just because my cleaners, they called out sick. So I'm here, tidying up and cleaning and whatnot and disinfecting. But this property, I'm actually turning a rental and not going to be Airbnb anymore just because the neighborhood is going through a whole gentrification process. And so I've been having too many guests just like complain about, the neighborhood and things like that, or about all the construction. And so it just made more sense to find a tenant who has no issues with the neighborhood and have them living here for 12 months. It's just that whole gentrification and stuff, then, maybe put it back onto the Airbnb market, depending on where the Airbnb market is a year or two down
Yeah.
the line from now. But I
Yeah.
still have properties,
So
down
it sounds
in
like
Florida.
it sounds like as long as you got like the infrastructure or like the team, I from what I hear, like I don't do Airbnb. It's all mine are just strictly rentals. But one thing
Yeah,
about Airbnb I've heard is that you gotta have a solid cleaning crew. I guess just the crew that you have to manage the Airbnbs is gonna be very important for you in the success of whether it's gonna be a long-term Airbnb or not. As far as cleaning crews and things like that, how'd you go about getting yours set up, like your infrastructure set up for your Airbnbs?
yeah. So actually, I found all my cleaning folks because I had an Airbnb. I was doing arbitrage in New York, so I had an Airbnb in New York. I have 2 Airbnbs in Tallahassee and 2 Airbnbs here in Atlanta. And just kind of word of mouth on cleaners, just talking to friends, or even you can just kind of Google search. But from all of my cleaners, I pretty much just asked a friend, or just asked certain people in my circle, who was just like, yo, you know anybody that cleans homes? And I do all the managing
Yeah,
myself as far as talking to guests and whatnot. So that was the easy part. But then I would just have to send the schedule of when the cleaner needs to go by for the month, and they would go handle it. To let me know when I need more, supplies like toilet paper and paper towels and trash bags and stuff. And I would just have it Amazon primed to the house, or I would just cash app the cleaner to pick it up themselves and bring it to the house.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's like Airbnb. I would love to get into it. Baltimore is obviously not in Atlanta, so it's not exactly a place where everybody's going to come and turn up. But it is a place people still come out here. I know Danielle is into Airbnbs up here. We do have a lot of hospitals,
Hmm.
so that also, I think that's where a
Yeah.
lot of our Airbnb market actually goes toward is year round, outside of sports season, baseball and football, Ravens and the Orioles. But we do have a lot of hospitals. Johns Hopkins is very big, so a lot of people actually do come in here temporarily, which is where Airbnb would work very well. So again, just like Rich said, as far as your team is really going to be consistent on, that's where your consistent success is going to come from, your team, and making sure you're also in a market where, obviously people are going to want to come visit. Um, let's see, we
Right.
got some more questions, man. People up in his joint, baby. Yeah, let me see. What else we
Let's
got? We
go.
got let's see, we got another question from my boy Brent. I need my second house in the next 2 months. What should my daily activity consist of? Well, I would say it depends also again, right? And I keep saying depends because I've seen it from a different perspective, like the off-market perspective versus like, just going the
Yeah.
traditional agent route. If I'm going the traditional agent
Yeah.
route, and let's say I got somebody that I'm working with, I want, put me on the drip, put me on the feed where, I'm getting these houses sent to my email every day. Every morning, if I was you, you don't have access to the MLS, but I'm going to be looking up houses on homes.com or HomeSnap or wherever, right? Because deals pop up every single day, right? And
Yep.
I like to make this analogy. Homes are like
Every
cars.
day.
So if one house goes today, there's going to be 10 more that pop up tomorrow, right? So one thing I'm
Right.
doing every day is I'm looking at different houses. I'm also getting an eye for I'm catching an eye. I'm getting an eye for what I actually want. And then I'm also staying in consistent contact with my agent and trying to get out there as much as possible because you're not going to win any deals for your second house if you're not putting in offers. You're going to lose more than you win.
Right.
You're only going to win one time, but you're going to lose many times, right? So if you're not putting in any offers, you're not going to win a deal. You're not going to win your second home. So that's why I say you got to consistently look at houses every day, and you also have to be putting in offers as much as possible, right? And don't become emotionally attached to these homes. When you make an emotional decision, I think I said this on Twitter yesterday. When you buy emotionally,
Oh yeah.
you buy wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. There's folks that consistently put in offers and they consistently lose, and then they get to this one deal that they like so much, and they're like, I'm gonna buy this regardless, and they go over what they should be paying, and then they find themselves in a bad scenario. Don't be that person. So keep a level head, stay focused on what you want, know your numbers, practice, know your numbers, know what you need. And just don't go over those numbers, man, and consistently look at houses, stay in contact with your agent, and put in offers. That's what I would say on a daily basis. What you got?
Yeah. Have your agent sending you something every day. Checking Zillow twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, just to make sure you don't miss anything. You can even reach out to homeowners if you want to say, hey, are you interested in selling? But as long as you're looking for properties, you got a team that's looking for you and has you on a mailing system to send you properties that meet your criteria, and you're on Zillow or Homes.com, like you said, looking at properties, then that you're doing what you need to do every day to make sure that you find a property in the next 2 months.
Exactly.
But also, why does it have to be in the next 2 months?
All about
you also don't want to pull the trigger on something. You don't want to pull the trigger on something just because, for the sake of time, or for the sake of 2 months. If the deal comes, it comes. But you should be able to find something in 2 months, though. Just by searching Zillow and then working with a realtor.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you put yourself in that box, if you don't have to, give yourself some time. When you put yourself in that box, normally things don't end too well, or you find yourself in a rush. But again, just be consistent. Let's see. We got some more questions, man. I'm trying to get to everybody here. Let's see.
All right. What else we got?
Let me see. Also, disclaimer, at the hour mark, IG is going to cut us off, so I'll get a 2-minute warning. Once I issue the 2-minute warning, we're going to have to wrap up. If you guys want to do a second session, Rich, we could do another one next week, or we could do another one, man. But let's see, we're gonna keep going. Will my school debt affect the purchase of a home? Yes, it will. I think it will. I believe so.
Do they?
They checked my school debt. Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot, so it. I didn't have a lot of school debt, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. But I could imagine it would.
I would say if you really want to, finesse the system again, is to, before you buy a property, defer your student loans for a little bit, because I believe they calculate your debt to income ratio based off of your monthly payments. So if you don't have any monthly payments to your student loan debts, then boom, you don't really have that going account for you against your debt to income ratio. So you can, simply defer your student loan payments for a little bit, and not have that student loan debt affect your debt to income ratio.
What would be even better is if they just cancel student loans.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people would be happy about that.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be buying houses if we weren't like $50,000 to $150,000 in debt. You talk about boosting the economy. Shit.
But so another thing is too, and just in regards to debt in general, I hear a lot of people say they want to pay off their debt before they start investing, and I feel like that's the backwards way.
Yeah.
That's the backwards way of moving, because if you get a property that's cash flowing $500 extra a month, to where you don't even have to use your salary to make your student debt payments, why not do that? That way you have this investment property paying your debt for you, and that's just the way the rich do it. They always have some type of asset or some type of source of income that's solely dedicated to paying for whatever debt or liability they have, whether it be a car or a student loan debt. So that's one thing that I would like to really focus on, is make sure that you are thinking about this correctly. Like, don't use your own salary to pay off some debt. Like, use somebody else's money. So if you buy a property and you renting it out, you using their money basically, that they paying you $1,000, your mortgage and insurance and all that comes to $500. You have $500 extra in your pocket every month. Use that $500 that they're giving you to put towards paying off your student loan debt, and your salary, your paycheck that you get from your job every month, you just keep that for yourself, rather than, I'm just going to use my own money to pay off my student loan debt. Nah, put your money in an investment that's going to pay you every month, and use that monthly payment that you're getting to put towards your debt, and then you keep your salary to yourself.
Yep. That's the thing. There it is right there. Don't be afraid of debt, guys. I've heard that same thing multiple times. Like, I want to pay off my stuff first. Listen.
There's good debt and there's bad debt. There's the good debt that you're going to make money off of, so you take a loan out because you're going to make some money with it, and then there's bad debt where you got credit card payments, and then you ain't making no money off your credit card, so it shouldn't really make any sense. I actually have an article too. I'm gonna plug it real quick. An article on good debt and
Yes.
bad debt on my blog. I also have all of the investment spreadsheets that I use to analyze properties are completely free on my blog. All you got to do is subscribe, and you can download the spreadsheets. So anytime you want to check out or analyze a rental property or analyze a flip, you can go on the site on my blog, which is on my profile, subscribe, and you'll be able to download any of the spreadsheets or analysis for the free. And that's just for my community to make sure I'm helping out and giving back.
There it is. And that's the most important thing right there is like when we get to this point or, you know, when you get to a certain point where you've kind of, kind of transcended, past the normal state, you want to give back, man. Like this is like what we're doing right now is giving back. We're talking to you guys just openly and freely about some of these things. The same thing you're doing with your website. So y'all definitely go check it out because the reason why people pay people to figure this stuff out is because they don't want to make a $10,000 mistake. You know what I'm saying? I've made a $10,000 mistake before. And
Same.
it's not fun.
I've made even bigger mistakes than that, man. So it's just okay. It's okay.
That was actually going to be one of my questions. I know people still got questions, but let's figure out a way that people can learn from one of our mistakes, right? What's one of the biggest mistakes you've made, and how did you recover? If you can do it quickly, give me like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I have an apartment building down in Florida, a 10-unit apartment building, and I didn't have the correct insurance on. I had property insurance, but I didn't have liability insurance. So my property managers put this scammer into this con artist into one of my units, and when I say scammer, I mean scammer. Like she's been in jail for check fraud, evictions out the ass.
I know where this
all
is
that
going.
type of stuff. Yeah, so she's in there, she's cooking bacon, and she burns herself and says it's it's the property manager's fault because of some messed up flooring. And basically the property manager's like, well, shit, this is your property. This ain't our problem. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, y'all was supposed to fix the problem. So essentially, she went to Morgan & Morgan, filed a lawsuit, man, and she got 50 grand. She got $50,000 from the lawsuit. I had to pay half, so I had to pay 25, and the property managers had to pay the other 25. So that, to me, 25 grand out of pocket, boom, gone. And I had to pay. I couldn't even do installments. I had to pay in 2 months in full. So it was just like, all right, bet. I learned that one. So yeah, last year, that was last year too, man. That happened in October last year or November last year, and I had to pay by December 31st, 2019, the full 25,000 because of that lawsuit. So I mean, definitely make sure if you have a property and somebody living in it, make sure you include liability insurance on your property, and so that you don't end up in the same foot of having to come out of pocket 25 grand.
Yeah, that's tough. I'll go ahead and give mine because I know we creep it up on time. So basically, I tried to do when I first started my business last year, separate from where I was actually working. I was looking at, I set my whole marketing up, and I was doing off-market deals. Was searching for off-market deals. I found a house, and I was so pumped and get ready to get my first house and do BRRRR. I ended up buying a crib, right? And, I offered 70, guy wanted 80. I was like, screw it, right? I'm going to go with the 80. It ended up biting me in the ass. But anyway, bought the house, renovated it, and I go to do my refinance because I'm in hard money and I got to refinance because I'm trying to do BRRRR.
Right.
And the appraisal came back, oh my God, the appraisal came back like 20K less than what I needed to refinance out of the deal. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And like, dude was like, just the comps, right? The comps weren't there. And it wasn't like I looked at the comps, but I didn't consider the refinance side of things, like what value I need the house to refinance at. And BRRRR is a great strategy to use if you can do it correctly, but you should be analyzing the deal. Not only is this a good deal, but can you refinance out of it even after you put money into it? That's one thing I did not consider. I ended up having to I had to go and spend an extra $8,000 put a new central air system in just to try to get the value up. And I still couldn't get the value there. And
That's yeah.
I ended up having to come to the closing table like $15,000. So not fun. I made that buy emotionally, and I didn't analyze the deal correctly for burr purposes and figuring out if I should if I can even refinance out the deal. So that's my point.
Okay. Well, I think one thing, I
Go
think
ahead.
we should definitely explain what the burr strategy is, though, just in case for the folks who
Yeah.
don't know. And I mean, I first heard burr strategy from Bigger Pockets, which is a real estate, kind of like social media, real estate Facebook, if you will. And the burr strategy basically is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So basically, you buy a property, you rehab it, you rent it out so that you're getting income from it, and then you go
Yes.
to the bank and say, hey, this property after I just rehabbed is now worth more money, and you do a refinance to get the money that you put in out. But you still
Yes.
keep the property, but you're just getting a new mortgage on the property so that you can still keep the property and keep the cash flow from it, from the property, and then boom, you got that money out, and then boom, you buy another property.
Buy
And
another property with that.
exactly. And then I can even give an example. So there's a property that I own here in Atlanta. Bought it cash just because, I bought it about the 125, 126 mark and put about 45 into it.
Yeah.
So all in about, what's that, 170? About 171. So about a 126. Put 45,000 into it for the renovations, and that's about 170 all in of my own money that I am into the property. But then after I did the renovations, I got it appraised for the refinance, and the appraisal came back at 230. So now I'm all in 170. The property appraised for 230. That means I have a profit or equity in the property of about $60,000.
Yep.
Boom, you go to the bank, say, hey, I want to do a refinance or a cash out refinance, and you pull that money you just put in. So that 126 and that 45 that I just put into the property to make it all nice and fancy, the bank will give you 80% of what the property is worth. So the bank said, all right, you put that into it. Now let's say it appraised for 230. I'm doing the quick math real quick. Boom. All right, so now since it appraised for 230, we'll give you 80% of the value, and that'll be based off your new mortgage. So 80% of the 230 is $184,000. So the bank gave me $184,000 to after I rehabbed this property that I only put 170 in.
That's it.
Right. That I only put 170 in. So I just made 10 grand, got to keep the property, and I get to keep the property and make money every month off because I'm using it for Airbnb. So it just really, really, really helps out to be able to, first you got to be able to know the comps, though, whenever you're looking to try and do something like this, because the burr strategy, if you don't have your comps in order, it will fuck you up like that. So you definitely buy a property that if you fix it up after, it'll be worth more than you put into it. So if you buy a property for 100 and you put 20 into it to fix it up, you want it to be worth at least 150 afterwards or 180 afterwards, so that when you do the refinance and they give you 80% of that new value, that you're going to be able to get all of your money back so that you can do it again with the next property. And that's really how you just, boom, stack it up tenfold of getting properties over and over again.
That's burr in a nutshell. It's a rinse and repeat process. Yeah. And if you do it the right way, you can make money after you buy a house. If you do it the right way. And the smart people, what they do is they take that money and they go buy another property. Refinance, pull it out, and you do the whole same thing over again. That's how you can buy a boatload of rentals in a small amount of time.
For sure.
Very short.
And I mean, I would definitely just go in, and I really just have an issue because of the property I'm sitting in right now. The person that renovated it or rehabbed it before I bought it did a shitty ass job, man. Took all types of shortcuts, all types of don't do this. Why would you do this? What the hell is this?
What's new?
And so I'm paying for it now because I have to go over their work. Yeah. And so now I really need to, but it's also my fault. I had an inspection done and I kind of just ignored the certain things in the inspection because it was interesting because the seller actually let me move all of my Airbnb furniture into the house before we even had the closing. Because the closing got delayed, I want to say 5 weeks or something like that. So I had already started buying furniture and shit. and furniture started getting delivered. I'm like, well, shit. So I started setting it up, and it was already on the calendar for Airbnb. So before I even owned the property, I was Airbnb-ing the property.
Oh, wow.
And I was just so tied into it that I was like, no, we have to close because
Yeah,
I'm
you're
seeing
locked
so
in.
much money on. Yeah. So I'm like, but I shouldn't have done that. I jumped the gun, moved a little too fast. Shouldn't have ignored the inspection report, because there was definitely some things in there that I was like, hey, he even pulled me to the side like, hey, they took some shortcuts in like renovating. And there's a whole second addition. They added a second addition to the house because originally it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, but now it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And so they added a whole secondary piece to the house. And he was just like, yeah, this whole secondary piece, they kind of just cheated on building the house.
At least you're still getting inspections. Like when I'm doing these off-market deals, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm the only one doing these.
Yeah.
Like, I found myself to be in some trouble sometimes. Like I had a rental that we bought last year, and you know, I'm not getting any inspections, and you know, the inspection consists on what I see, right? If I see it and I see it's a problem, okay, boom, I identify it. Why the hell I got in one of the pantries in one of the rentals, like just ceiling just came down. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. What the hell happened here? I go patch it, and then I go on top of the roof. Bro, there's a big ass hole in the roof, and I never saw it from the beginning. Like I never saw it,
and that's the type of thing. Like an inspection report will only cost you about $300, you know, and it just gives you, and they give you a full PDF breakdown of you know what's going on with the property type thing, whether electrical, heating and air, plumbing. All that type of stuff. And I don't want, you know, I can't see through walls. So I'm just like, let me get an inspection report. He gonna tell me everything and anything going with the property. Except the only problem was he gave me the inspection report, pulled me to the side and said, yo, this may not be the best house. And I still bought the shit anyway.
I'm in here. I'm in here.
Right, only because I had already been Airbnb-ing out of the property before I even purchased it. So I felt like I was just in it. And I was, you know, shit. And in 3-4 days, I'm making $600 off of the Airbnb. So I'm just like, hell, buy this. Do you understand how much money I'm making?
I just made some bread, yo.
I had to buy a whole new AC system. My roof was just had some issues. Same thing. Boom. I had to get the flooring was uneven in the hallway to the bathroom, so I had to get that, pull that up. I was like, man, I should have listened to the inspection report and not have purchased this property. But you know, either way, I'm in it. I'm still, you know, making pretty decent money off of it. Just had to come out of pocket of some of the profits on Airbnb to fix up the property and fix what they didn't do.
The lesson here, guys, if you've heard Rich's mistakes as well as mine, the lesson here is that no matter what level you are in this game, you're gonna make mistakes. Like it is inevitable. It is a part of the game. There's no book. There's no advice that's gonna be able to prevent it from happening. It's going to happen. It's all about how you bounce back, how you recover, and whether it's gonna take you one time to learn it or multiple times to learn it.
Right.
If it takes you multiple times to learn these kind of mistakes, you're gonna be out of business. Quite simply, you know. I don't know too many people can recover from like a 20-30K mistake, you know?
Yeah, man, I ain't trying to make another $25,000 mistake, man. I'm out after that. I'm gonna go like in a hut and just relax.
Exactly.
That's all it takes. It was a pop across the face, and I was like, all right, my bad.
That's all you need sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, we got I already got my notification. I got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. IG might cut me off, but I want to be able to save this video so I can put it on my timeline. We got Richard Anthony with me today. Remember, if you're new here, thank you everybody for showing up. I had more people here than I have ever had here. But anyway, we're going to keep doing this thing. Today, we do this every Thursday, 12 o'clock. You can follow me at StrongArm Invest, or StrongArm_invest. You can follow Richard. Plug your stuff real quick. Give me about 10 seconds.
Richard 2_Anthony. My blog is a great resource. Plenty of free information on there, as well as free spreadsheets for you to analyze deals. And if you want to, man, we can do part 2 on next Thursday if you want. It's up to you.
I'm with it. We still we have a whole bunch of unanswered questions. So actually, let's go ahead and plug it in. Next Thursday, meet us here, 12 o'clock, noon. If you do have questions that we didn't get answered, drop them in the comment section. I'm going to post this on my timeline. I got 10 seconds, and I don't want to lose this video. So if you haven't seen it, share it, pub it, check my timeline. We're out, guys.